G'day everybody, welcome back to another episode of Photo Australia. In this episode, Grant was actually talking to me about another Topaz product, which is called Adjust, Adjust AI. So what's this software about, Grant?
Yeah, hi Brad. As you know, folks, we're pretty good friends with Topaz people, and we've been bits of fans of their utility package, their denoise and their sharpening, their gigapixel, all really good products, in our opinion. Okay, and when I purchased them, I purchased the entire package, and they have I think it's called a creative package, as well as the utilities, in which you get Studio 2 and Adjust as part of the package. So the other day, because of a problem with another software thing I'm using, was crashing on me all the time, I, in sort of a bit of frustration, I went to Adjust to do something, and I was not unimpressed. So let's have a bit of a play here, Brad. This is Topaz Adjust AI. And it's different in that we've got this image up now. If we go to controls in the top right-hand corner, yep.
So we all I've done is just open up the Adjust and opened up a photo of Grant's actually from America. Some may recognise this very iconic photo.
You reckon?
And
Many
you
people
didn't
know where this is?
And you didn't get run over, so.
Well, you were watching my back at this stage. So
I'm surprised that you allowed me to have such a great responsibility of doing that.
I'm not run over.
Anyway, so we've opened that up. So the first thing you'll see is they've got a lot of different presets down the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So which you can just click on and it will just change your image straight to that look.
Yep.
Which there's actually some quite good ones there. It's very similar to some of the other software that I use that has these presets. But also...
while you're there, Brad,
Yep.
Now you've done that one, if you go down and you click on the blue button with the controls,
Yep.
open that up, and you can now go and play to your heart's content with more adjustments.
Well, the interesting...
And it tells you what it's done.
It does. So down here it shows you the adjustments that it's done. But the thing that I quite like is very similar to Lightroom with the sliders. It's got a very good range of basic controls that I use all the time. So we've got very similar to the basic panel in Lightroom. You've got your exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks. Then you've got color temperatures, saturation, of course all your exposure as well. And we've also got clarity. We've got quite an in-depth clarity control here, where it's not just one slider. They've actually got 4 different types of effects with clarity, which is quite interesting to play around with. Detail, which would be your sharpening. So you can do all your sharpening controls, and there's a lot of settings here. I haven't played with them yet. Split tone, which is another thing that I play with occasionally in Lightroom. If I'm wanting a particular mood in a shot, if I want a cold mood or a warm mood, you can actually add a color to highlights or shadows. So they've also got that in here, as well as grain. Occasionally I use grain if I want an old effect. So it hasn't got all the settings, but it's got a lot of the basic settings. Yep. So you could really do a lot of playing and a lot of processing, which get the photos to say 90% done. You could pretty much nearly do that with just this very basic part of Topaz.
Yep. I actually found myself staying here a bit in it actually, because my other program I've gravitated to over the years, which is DxO, has developed this annoying habit where if I go scrolling through lots of raw photos, it wants to crash on me all the time. So then it takes, you've got to go out and come back in and find where you were and blah, blah, blah. So
it also has
how I ended up here.
Yeah, it also has auto adjust.
Yep.
Auto adjust AI. So if I turn this off and reset the photo. So we're now back to Grant's original raw photo.
Well, it's actually it is an edited JPEG, so
is it?
It has already been edited, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I'll take that back. But even if we go to the off position, they've got standard, and you can adjust the strength of how strong you want it, or pull it back to its auto setting. It also has a HDR style as well. So just by clicking a single button, you can start getting a bit more of a visual effect, and it certainly makes the photo a lot more stronger or poppier with its colour tonings. Or you can just have a go manually, or go back to the presets which they've got here.
And I mean, a lot of our watches.
Ooh, romantic.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. A lot of our viewers. Well, I hope we've got some viewers who are more professional photographers out there. Hope there's one or two out there watching. May look at these presets and poo-poo them, and say, "Oh, really? Presets?" But look, then they're a good place to start if you're new to your photographic journey and you're new to the software. It can be really daunting as to knowing. I mean, we see this in our camera clubs all the time, where people come along and they get overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that's out there. And I say to people, whether it's Lightroom or whatever software you're using, they've all got presets and automatic adjustments of some sort. Try them, because they're a great place to start. They let you have a quick look at what is possible. They let you. This one I like in that it lets you analyse what the program has done. You can see the adjustments are there. You can go in and go, "Oh God, that's way too much. I don't like that. It's too artificial." You can play with it. You can pull it back, as you can see Brad's doing here, messing around, and it lets you see what is possible in your processing. We're not saying you have to like it, but what it is about is getting you to understand the capability and the possibility, and then you can teach yourself how to get to an end point and find something that pleases yourself first, and hopefully you'll find one or two other people that happen to agree with your line of thought.
Yeah, and you've hit on it as well, Grant. Is what I like is that it's very good for a beginner. Because a lot of software is very complicated these days, a lot of the good software as well. But this has just got the very basics. And somebody who's very new into photography, it's limited, but you're able to do all the basic stuff. So if you've got a really good photo in camera that doesn't need a lot of processing, or changes or cloning, or anything like that, you can do the very basics.
The processing,
and
that's right.
And you can get to a really nice article with just a few clicks of the button. Right. Now, the only thing, if I had to have one criticism, and I've said this, and if Topaz are listening, I'm sure they've heard it before, I would love to have just a histogram. I know they've got it on. There's another bit of software which is more advanced than this, which does have all of these things in it, which we will probably review.
We will
at a later stage. That's very in depth, but in this one with the Topaz Adjust, I'd still would like to see a histogram. The reason is when you start playing around with highlights and whites and exposure and all those sorts of things, you still really need to have an indication, unless I haven't found it on this software. You really do need an indication if you're going to clip the highlights. So if you're actually overexposing any areas in your photograph. If you've got a really good monitor and it's calibrated, you could probably pick it up on the monitor in any case. But we're talking about beginners here. And I think you still need to have either an indication or a histogram to say, hey, you're now losing detail in this area of your photo. So that way when they print it, it just doesn't come out and
Yep.
there's just no detail.
Yep.
So that'd be my only criticism. But other than that, I really like how simple this is and the effect that it puts on the photo. So well done to Topaz for doing that.
Yep. Excellent. And I just wonder, Brad, looking at that shot, I wonder what's going on there right now.
Well, don't know, Grant.
No,
Probably
no.
not a lot.
Just a little bit of nostalgia from my point of view. I can remember that. That was an evening, I think, from memory, wasn't it? We went out there of an evening. We went a morning and an evening.
I was going to say, I think it was morning and evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So, yeah.
All right. Well, with that, is a little quick short episode on Topaz Adjust AI. You can download a copy to trial, I believe, from their website. And it's what I like about the Topaz, it's a one-off payment. So it's not a subscription type deal. So far, I've been very impressed with a lot of their other software, and we'll be still reviewing. We'll probably a few future episodes of some of the other software. We might use a few of mine, with especially with nature photography, on some of the sharpening and denoise and different things like that. So, but with that, we'll leave that episode right there. Hit subscribe if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.